David Dallas might just be the biggest name in New Zealand hip-hop right now, with 2 full-length albums out, one on the way called Falling Into Place, on its way later this year. Welcome to Radio Control, David.
Hey, how's it going?
David?
Dave is good.
Sweet. So let's talk a bit about what's been going on since the Duck Down Records deal and moving to America. Where are you based now, and what are you up to at the moment?
I'm home at the moment. Like, I spent the last 4 months of last year, like, on the road, like, in America, and then basically once that finished and I came home to do the summer shows and summer touring,
yeah,
I was like, I need to actually lock down and actually make my record.
Yeah.
And so myself and Fire and Ice, who produced, like, the majority of the Rose Tint, like, we went into a studio around, like, mid-January. And
cool.
We didn't really come out until the end of May, once we'd finished, like, mixing and mastering the record. So
right,
it's pretty much, like, the whole writing, recording, mixing process is all done, and then since I've been out, it's basically just straight into, like, getting the video sorted and the artwork sorted and all that other stuff.
All that stuff. So that new album on the way is called Falling Into Place. Tell us a little bit about the process for that one. Like, it's been a couple of years since your last full length. Was it quite a long process making that one?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be, like, I first thought of, I had the title for it, and, like, I actually started working on it, like, last year.
Yeah.
But then kind of, with, like, what ended up happening was I got sidetracked and I put out an EP called Buffalo Man, which was kind of like a passion project. I just put that out for free, like, inspired by Jamiroquai's music. Yeah. And then, once I'd finished working on that, then I basically just went out on tour in America, and that kind of took up, I was a lot less productive as far as, like, creativity-wise
sure.
than I thought I'd be, like, it was pretty much just play a show every night, and then... So once we came back for summer and we did, like, we did our summer shows, it was really like, man, I actually just need to just lock everything off and just get to work with the people who I work with, Once I got back to New Zealand and we had that time, me and Fire and Ice were just like, yo, let's just block it out and let's just only do this.
Awesome.
So we kind of went into hibernation. So as far as, like, the creative process, it's the most condensed process I've ever had.
Right.
It's not songs that I've had sitting around for 2 years, I've been working on and off at it. Like, everything on the record, bar 2 songs, was pretty much written, was pretty much written in that January to May space. So, like, as far as, like, putting out something, this is the freshest the material's ever been, like, it's only, like, 3 months after I finished working on it that people are getting to hear it, which is cool.
It can be rare sometimes as well when the process takes quite a while. So you talked about on one of your preview videos about sometimes it feels like the art takes the reins a little bit and the project kind of goes wherever it's going to go. Did it end up how you expected, the end product?
Nah, it didn't, and that was kind of, that was the point I was really trying to make, and, when I was getting asked about that, it was just like, you can go in with all these visions about what, the sort of song you want to make and what you think it's going to be, but it doesn't, like, it's kind of like, you'll hear, like, Fire and Ice would show me music, and I'd be like, oh, this wasn't necessarily what I was looking for, but I like this,
right,
and this is taking me this way, or,
Yeah.
And it did. It just kind of ended up being what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then, you've got to kind of get that out of your head, like the preconceptions that you have. Sure. Because otherwise it's stifling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, once I got rid of that and was just like, okay, let's just see what's going to happen. And it really wasn't until I listened to the record maybe like a week after we finished, after we finished the mix and master, that I was kind of like, oh, yeah, actually this isn't too bad, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because there's points, even something like Running, which is the current single, that all sort of came together at like the 11th hour, and even, there was points where I was kind of like, man, are we even going to get this song done, or, Yeah. But, by the end of it, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, cool.
The likes of My Mentality has Freddie Gibbs feature. Do you think being where you are and with the people that are around you made that possible for things like that to happen, features like that to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, just having that cosign, like having a label in New York, like, which is like Duck Down. Yeah. They, there's an authority and a weight that they have. Right. That, because of their time in the game and because of the things that they've done, that people, it's like, when you see that, that's an authentic hip hop brand. You know what I mean? Yeah. But sure. It's funny because the Freddie Gibbs connection actually came about through my manager, like, who's co-managing me, Andy, from Dawn Raid. And he had a mutual friend, and so when we met Gibbs was like, yeah, he was just a super cool, mellow dude. And then when we sent him the song, he really liked it, and that was kind of it. That was how we did Caught in the Days. And you know, going into this record, it was just obvious that we'd work together again, and it worked out easy.
And funny that your US connect actually came from your Kiwi manager.
Yeah, it came from New Zealand. Yeah.
So there's a lot of other New Zealand features on the album, like PNC, Sid Diamond, even Ruby Frost. Do you feel that's real important to keep your connection with home for that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like it's, you know, I feel like there's really good music being made here. You know, like there's really good artists, and we have to try and, you know, we have to foster that and showcase it, you know, where we can.
For sure.
Yeah, and it's easy to work with people. You know, it's easy to work with people who have the same background and same cultural understanding that you do.
And collaborations you've worked with before on there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's actually been topping the iTunes charts even before its release. It's on its way next week, I believe. Was that a surprise for you that it got so big so early?
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, yeah, obviously, like I don't know, like artists are pretty fragile creatures, you know, like as much as artists will be on stage being like, I'm the man, and you know, at the end of the day, really, like you make, and as much as you can make music for yourself, because, you know, obviously we all, you know, you try to make music to your taste, or good artists do, you know, you try and make the sort of stuff you like. At the end of the day, you still want other people to like it, you know, you want other people to appreciate it, so it's you know, it's very nice, and it's very validating that, you know, there's people that are actually keen to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes you happy.
For sure. And you got some pretty awesome promo, probably some of that that resulting in that iTunes success from your single being in the new Madden game and in the trailer even. Was that a shock? Did you know it was coming? And, like, are you a Madden fan as well?
Yeah, that was wicked, man. Like, we actually sent, like, we sent Duck Down, my label in New York, we sent them the demo, like, really early on. So we started sending them, like, some of the stuff because they wanted to hear where the record was at.
Right.
And they probably had a version of Runnin' that, like, just had the first verse or something.
Yeah.
And they were actually, like, when they first started to get the demos, they were kind of like, hey, we got a relationship with the people at EA. Would you mind if we, like, pitched some of your stuff along with some of the other stuff we were pitching? And I was like, nah, bro, absolutely, go ahead. And when EA came back to them, we're like, oh, we want to use that song "Running" for the theme for the trailer.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, and like, to be honest, the Duck Down dudes were even more wrapped because you know, Madden, like if you're an American, you understand how big American football is. You understand how big Madden is there. It's huge. You know? I mean, the one that I was really stoked about was when they said that they got, because the song's now in the FIFA 14 soundtrack.
Yeah.
You get FIFA. For me, that was the crazy one.
Yeah, more of a FIFA
because I grew up playing FIFA.
Yeah,
FIFA was my game, you know. So being in FIFA 14 that's the one.
Yeah. And on Twitter, you call yourself, quote, a fairly decent person. Do you think that's something that New Zealand rappers end up falling into when they're compared to Americans, or is it something you just kind of hold as your own?
How do you mean? Just like being
fairly decent? Or do you think that the kind of the New Zealand rappers get the nice guy image when they're compared against some of the other, like some of the American rappers and things like that?
Yeah, perhaps. I think you just kind of got to be what you are, you know, like you know, like I think, you know, say with someone like Freddie Gibbs or something, I think that's why, like, our songs have really worked. It's that contrast, you know what I mean? It's the contrast in style and personality, because he's about as authentic a gangster rapper as he could be.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, like, you know, you meet him and, like, me and him get along really well.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, yo, this New Zealand cat's cool, man. You know?
Yeah, nice.
So I think, you know, at the end of the day, especially from touring through America, I realized, like, we come from a pretty awesome place, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome here, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really have too much to rage about at the moment.
No, that's cool. And you're on your way around the country. In fact, you've only got one left in your release tour, even though we still have to wait a week for that. How's it been so far? You've been getting good reaction?
Yeah, like we played Wellington and Auckland in the weekend, and it was huge, man. It was overwhelming, especially like the response to Runnin' and stuff.
Yeah,
it's been crazy.
And does that? It might not be comparable, but does it mean more to get that reaction from New Zealand or from other places, or? It's
cool anywhere. Like you know, obviously, but I mean, you always want, especially for me, like your hometown, you know, like getting in Auckland, like of course you know.
Yeah.
I think you could go across the world if people don't love you in your hometown, you probably still feel you feel kind of empty or some type of way about it. So yeah, it's nice. It's always nice to get that from your hometown.
For sure. All right, man. Before we go, we'll run through a couple of quick ones for you. This one actually might take a while to think about. Your Desert Island Discs, your 3 albums you wouldn't want to be without if you're stranded on Desert Island.
Michael Jackson Thriller.
Yep.
Snoop Doggy Style.
Nice.
And the other one, Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel.
Oh, nice. Favorite New Zealand artist? It might be like picking one of your children, but.
Favorite New Zealand artist? I've probably certain albums. I like, obviously I like PNC a lot. Electric White Hustle I like a lot. Who else is good? I mean, there's heaps that are good.
Yeah.
Like it's more like there's certain New Zealand songs.
Right.
I guess, I really like those guys' overall bodies of work, like PNC and Electric White Hustle.
For sure. Dream collaborations that you haven't already fulfilled?
Oh, any of the great producers. It's not even like if I made music with them. I just like to kind of like sit down and pick their brains in the studio. Like to be in the studio with like a Dre or a Pharrell or a Kanye or a Timbaland. Like any of those would be insane.
Yeah. And do you have one lyric that you always think you wish you'd written, or one line?
Oh man, Jesus, heaps. Probably something off Can I Live by Jay-Z. He's got heaps of gems in there. I mean, it's not even stuff that I wish I'd written because it wouldn't be applicable to me. You know what I mean? But there's just so much like there's just so much clever stuff he says in there. Yeah, just listen to Jay-Z, Can I Live, off his first album. That's the one.
And finally, one thing you'd like to say to the people of Palmerston North?
What would I like to say to people of Palmerston North? Anyone who hits me up about coming to a show in Palmerston North, instead of just hitting me up, tell me where to play. So, like, people are asking me, like, come to Palmerston North. Yeah. And I'm like, I would come there in a second as soon as someone, like, offers me the right place to play. You know what I mean?
For sure. All right.
Because I'm like, I don't know, like, and even when I talk to PNC, he's like, oh, there's probably not really anywhere that's right for you to play it.
We struggle at the moment, but that's cool. You're keen if we can find you a place to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I probably get hit up more about Palmerston North and New Plymouth than, like, I guess because I haven't really properly played either of those places, you know? Yeah. But, yeah, like, both those two places, people always say, hey, why don't you ever come to Palmerston North? You know, you go everywhere else, and then, you get people hitting you about South Island all the time, too. But I guess because we're always playing shows in the North Island and we never go to those two towns. You know? Yeah. Nah, cool. We'll work on that for you. Work on a place to find you that you can play. We're going to go out with one of the new tracks off the new album. This is my favourite so far, My Mentality. Thanks so much, Dave, for the chat, and all the best. Cool, man. Cheers. All right, cheers. Bye.